Good morning. It is Monday the 29th, 30th. It's the last Monday in June. And the next couple of days we are supposed to get like 8 or 9 straight days of rain and lots of heat. So I kind of wanted to show you where the garden is today, because I did take some stuff out, put some new stuff in, and I kind of just want to compare what everything looks like today compared to what it's going to look like in a week, because with all this rain and this heat, I'm expecting some really big growth. So it's fine, we'll do it this way. So I am desperately in search of something to help stake up these potatoes. I need to find, actually, I know where it's at. I just need to get some hay or some straw to kind of bulk up here, because I've got a couple of plants. Let me put that down. Some of these are starting to lean over on themselves, which isn't going to do so great for them. What else do we have? My lavender is blooming. I'm so excited. I'm trying to figure out if... Oh, you see this one's got little bitty blooms. The rest are just buds. I probably need to trim those and save them so that they don't go sad. Just makes me disappointed that they're not going to be on my plant anymore. Lemon balm is doing remarkable. Let's see. Okay, so box number 1, yesterday I finally ripped up all of the peas. It was basically the end of the season for them anyways. But they were also had so much damage from the aphids. I did kill a ton of them, but the damage was done, and they were just getting too darn hot, so it wasn't going to work for them anymore. So box number 1, we have, I technically have 6 tomato plants, but 5 of them were transplants, whereas one I tried to start from seed, and it's growing, but I might not get anything from it till super late in the season, so I might get 1 or 2 fruits before the end of, or before it frosts. Let's see. So, this one here is my newest transplant. This is a yellow one that I got from, I think I picked this one up from Lowe's. I don't remember what I went in to get, but I got a tomato plant because I was there. Yellow ones are supposed to be sweeter and lower acid. Orange are also low acid compared to the red ones. And then purple and black ones are more of a meaty, savory flavor, where it's less of the fruity flavors to it. And then there's actually white ones and green ones, not like the green ones that you fry, because a fried green tomato is just a unripe tomato, but there's actually ones that are green when they are ripe. I don't have any white, I don't have any green. I don't know if I have an orange one or not. I have one that's striped. I don't know if it's orange or not. So this one here is my yellow one, and it's going to be a yellow cherry. I've got the little tags in there. Shoot, what do we got here? This one here this one's a black cherry one, so this will be more cherry tomatoes, but with that more savory, meaty flavor. And this one, it's split way early on, and I should have probably either divided it or, I should have divided it, but I didn't. But shoot, I've been in here pruning things off, and I've got suckers all day long, which is, it's what tomatoes do. They send out suckers because that's what they like to do. So I've got that yellow cherry, black cherry. This one over here, this is my questionable orange one. It's a Mr. Stripey. Oh, it's super fuzzy. Yeah. So that's a yellow and orange one, which should be pretty cool. That's a slicing one. And again, it's split, and I didn't know which one was going to be my leading vine. So I couldn't prune it back. So I've just spread it out as best I can, because these are indeterminate varieties. So if I were to cut the wrong stem, it would stop its growth vertically. It would stop growing vertically, and then it would just, it would be stuck with where we were left. All of mine that I've got this year are indeterminate. So that's just what I chose to do, because they will continue to grow vertically until frost. or until I top them. When they get to the top of my poles, I'll probably top them off, so because I can't support them. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with indeterminate varieties. They just work differently, and I chose to do one so I didn't confuse myself. Over here, I've got my other slicer, which is a Black Prince. So this is going to be more of the, ooh, fuzzy, a purple variety. And I do actually have 2 on here. They are nowhere near being ripe, but I'm happy that they're there. And then I got another cluster of flowers up here, so that's good. Over here, I've got my Sweet 100, which is a hybrid red cherry tomato. And I've got big old clusters here, and I'm just waiting for them to blush. So they're still green. And then I've got another cluster on this same vine up top. And it has shot up probably about 8 to 12 inches in the last week because we finally have some good heat. And then here's, I don't even remember what this one is down here, but this is the one that I've started from a seed. And there's actually 2 in there. I think, I don't actually know. No, I don't think. I have no idea what that is. So I have no clue. I probably just need to kill these, or not kill these, pull these onions because that just didn't happen. Sad onions, sad garlic. Purple basil in the middle. I did actually trim a whole bunch of that off. I don't really cook with much fresh basil, but I will probably use it later in the year when the tomatoes are ready. It's mostly there to attract pollinators with the flowers and to deter other pests. So over here, we used to have this panel almost to, it was to the top with peas, but it never got really full. But in the last week, the cucumbers have gone nuts, which is good. Again, they're like the tomatoes and they like the heat. So these ones over here are dragon's egg cucumbers, and you can see we've got some flowers, which I need to go in there with a paintbrush and pollinate those. So yeah, these guys are super excited. In the last week, they've shot up from being about the whole plant the size of my hand to over here. And I'm starting to train it up. So I've got 1, 2 on this panel. Over here, we've got, this is a Tigger melon or a Kajari melon, which is a pretty hard to find variety. And it has had huge growth in the last week too. It went from being 2 little leaves to being like, you know, it's 2 feet up the pole. And then over here is another cucumber. What's those spots on it? I don't know. I just fed them last night, so that's probably what it is. I sprinkled a bunch of fertilizer on it. So, yeah, cucumbers. And then I've got a couple of strawberries that are working. So, tore out all the peas and put in, or spread out the cucumbers and melons. And honestly, I think they're going to fill up this trellis really quick. I scared the green beans into growing, which we talked about, and they're doing pretty well. We finally got them vining up, and they're thrilled. Let's see. This lettuce, I'm shocked, has made it this long because lettuce is a cool weather crop. And we've actually cut 1 salad from it. It's about ready to have some more cut. So hopefully that lasts maybe another week or so. I'll probably try and trim a bunch of that out. Here we have a sugar baby watermelon. And it is grabbing for this vine. These ones really just needed the heat. And they got a late start. And I don't know why they took so long, but they're finally taking off. And I think over here is another one of those Kajari melons. So I'm excited about that to have 2. And these ones are pickling cucumbers. I don't remember if they're Boston pickling cucumbers, because that sounds about right. But I'm not sure. They're cucumbers. I've got the packets somewhere that I could be reading, but I'm not. So I've got 2 there, and they're starting to spread out, and I need to check for gender on those flowers. Cucumbers are, well, there's 2 different kinds of cucumbers, but they're not self-pollinating like a lot of other plants are. They're male and female flowers, just like squash. So unless you have a lot of pollinators naturally, which, I mean, I do get some bumblebees and stuff, but not enough just because of the area we are in. There's just not a lot of natural pollinators, and they treat there's issues. So I'm going to grab a paintbrush once I see that I've got male and female flowers and pollinate those up. Over here we had a ton of peas. This was full of peas, and now I've got Walmart was. I was talking to the guy at Walmart, and he was saying that the vendor that sells these plants was coming by today to pick them up. So this was the last chance I was going to have to get more of these before they got taken back to the greenhouse, because they just don't see them surviving in Walmart, which I get, because if you've been to most Walmarts, I will try to grab a hose if I can find one and water the sad little plants. But we've got, I did grab 3 new varieties. I have 2 of these red beef steaks. So we'll see. My hope with that is that I'll have enough that I can can up some sauce, perhaps. I mean, fingers crossed I'll be able to do that this year. I have no idea how to can things, so I will have help. I will have to find help to can them. The other 2 varieties I got were, these are some yellow slicers. What are they called? Lemon Boy. We'll see. So, the yellow ones, are supposed to be lower acid. So if you don't like the tartness of some tomatoes, go for yellows or oranges. So I got 2 of those. So 1, 2. There's a couple of lettuce stragglers. Oh no, where's my tag for? Oh, here it is. And then here's the last one I got, which is another red one, Better Boy, and it's a hybrid. Most of what I got are heirlooms. I'm just drawn to the heirlooms, but there's nothing wrong with hybrids. It's just when it comes to saving seeds, they may not be quite so reliable the next year. So there's just a little view of what we've got here. So tomatoes, trellis, cucumbers, melon, more big tomatoes. You can see these ones are about halfway up the poles, so we'll see how far they get before I have to top them. And potatoes. And then, so I told you I bought seeds to scare my green beans into growing, which worked, but then I had the seeds that I had to plant. So what I got were a purple potted bush bean, and I got this little garden tower here, and it spins, and although because these ones are still so young, I may have to only let them out for a little bit of rain, just so they don't get flooded. But I filled 4 bottom tiers with bush beans. So this will actually should get pretty full on the sides. And then I had, my strawberries just have not been super thrilled this year. There's one strawberry runner hiding out in there. So there's one strawberry in there. And then I put some bunching onions on top, and you can see those little guys just poking up, so we'll see how they do. But I do hopefully foresee this tower being pretty full of bush beans. I mean, I've had a couple that like this one I'm going to split and pull one up here. I did plant 2 in each spot in case one didn't germinate, but these have actually done really, really well. Later in the season, they're nice and warm, so that probably helps. But I actually struggled to find these seeds from some of the sites I normally use. I like Baker Creek heirlooms. I've used High Mowing seeds at a few other places. These were ones I found through a smaller shop. Here, Terrier. Woo. Where is it? Where is it? Terror Seeds. Terrier. And they're based out of Arizona, and I got 2 packets of these purple potted bush beans really fast, actually. I got them within a week, even with the shipping delays that we've been having with almost everything except Amazon. And I've been really pleased that it looks like almost every one of those in that little tower has germinated. So, fingers crossed, we'll have a really good week despite all this rain. My only concern with this much rain is that in the one box I've been fighting off, well, I need to treat for those aphids, although I haven't seen them really affecting anything else, but I do need to make sure that they don't get all over the cucumbers and stuff. But my big concern with pests right now is Japanese beetles. They have started to go in on the, what do I got over here? I've started finding them on my pole beans, eating at the leaves. They were really having fun with the sweet peas. So I have a special deterrent that I found that is, so the issue with Japanese beetles, they are they're an import. They came in through, for something wants me to say New Jersey. They got imported in on some sort of plant, and they are almost impossible to stop at this point. There's one kind of BT, which is an organic friendly compound. It's a bacteriological pesticide, so it's not chemical. It actually targets specific species, so it's good for certain things like BT is good for a lot of different beetles or some caterpillars and stuff. So this is one that is patented to work against specifically the Japanese beetles. There's also one that works specifically against the grubs. So if you have the grubs, you can actually treat your whole yard, and it's supposed to last something like 15 to 20 years because it's this bacteria that gets into the soil and colonizes it. But this one here, it's called Beetle Juice, and it is patented. And this is a powder that I'm going to mix into my sprayer, and you apply this to the leaves, and it will kill whatever eats the leaves. It won't affect your plant, but it will kill what's eating your leaves. So that's why it works against caterpillars and beetles that are attacking those things. It won't affect your beneficial insects, because lacewings and ladybugs and butterflies and those things don't eat the leaves. They eat from the flowers, or they eat they eat the bad bugs. So it's safe and approved for organic gardening, and almost all of those you can use up until the day of harvest. Same with neem oil, which is good for aphids. So there's a little update, and hopefully I will see some amazing growth after all of this rain. Have a good week.